I think it is very difficult for the public to evaluate scientific information that they get via the standard media. And, you know, that's because the media often is trying to sensationalize something, and, you know, so it gets construed a different way. In climate change, it's worse than that. Unfortunately, it's that you really do have very strong competing interest and competing agendas, and so you get huge amounts of misinformation, and not just misinformation, wrong information. All right, so what do you tell the average person? How can they ensure that the information they're getting is accurate? Well, I think there are some things they can do. They can, one, look at, if someone is quoted, "a scientist said blah, blah, blah," look up the scientist, look up their name. What are they a scientist of? What's their degree in? As an average citizen, you can look these people up. I mean, now that we've got, you know, Wikipedia and all these different things, and they aren't 100% accurate, but you can see what their degree was in, right? If they have a master's, or if they have a PhD, or if they don't have a degree at all, you can find out these things. So that's very important. Find out what the actual training is of the person making the statement, and ask yourself, do they have the training that qualifies them to be an expert in that field? Half the time it's no. All right, very simple. Other things you can do. You can, if you're looking at websites, look into the mission statements or the background information for who put that website together. Is it a foundation that has some sort of political agenda or a business agenda? Or is it a group of scientists? So there are now several websites that are run by active climate scientists, active biologists in global change, where people are, the scientists are simply translating their own work into lay language. Those are very good, very solid, very accurate sources of information. If you find out the website's being run by a foundation that, you know, it has a very, very clear agenda for, say, a particular kind of energy, like coal-fired power plants, then you might think that the statements they're making may be biased towards saying coal-fired power plants are good and not really any problem. So you can just delve into a little more. The other piece of advice I give Americans in particular is, don't just look at American newspapers, right? There are a lot of newspapers in English from around the world, and so try to get a more global perspective on an issue, because oftentimes almost the entire US media will have one perspective that's actually counter to a perspective you might see in many European newspapers. So we've got this incredible access now. Use it.